Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. Just wanted to get on here. I want to do my message today before I get out and get all hot and sweaty. So, today we're going to talk about narcissists. I've been putting that off, but today we're going to go into it because I think that even though I personally don't want to talk about it because I'm getting out of that toxic cycle, I want other people to not stay in it for as long as I did. And so for you to recognize what it is, call it what it is, separate yourself from it, and start your healing process as soon as possible is of the utmost importance. So if you resonate with any of these characteristics of a relationship that you're in, whether it be romantic, platonic, someone who's a friend, someone who's family, whatever it may be, I need you to do yourself a favor and give yourself the gift of closing that door, okay? It will be so beneficial to you, to your children if you have them. You need to not jump back in it, okay? It's so hard. I did it many times, so I'm speaking from experience. I'm not trying to say that I did this perfectly, but that's why I'm teaching this lesson, because I don't expect anybody to be perfect, but the quicker that you can get out of it and it not keep perpetuating, the better, because it will affect the children. It will affect your life going forward, and you want that to be as short as possible, okay? Limit it. So we're going to talk about narcissistic personality disorder. It is in the DSM. It is an actual diagnosis. A lot of people on YouTube, there's TikTokers that have come out that admit that they were diagnosed with it, and they give help to other people, to victims, making them into survivors. So I am a survivor of this. I am not going to participate in it anymore. I will not be pulled back into that cycle anymore. I still see my ex trying to do that, hence my posts from this morning. They will try to do things to elicit a response from you, and I refuse. I am not going to be contacting them with the response that they want from me anymore. They'll try to use things, like in my case, my child, against me. One, to gaslight. Two, to try to make you need something from them. I only need something from God. I depend on God for everything. So I am so glad that I'm out of that cycle. I will never go back to it. I have finally learned my lesson. I've been involved with several narcissists in my life, including the father that raised me. So I know how they can be energy vampires and feed off of you, and they can dangle carrots and breadcrumb you and love bomb you, and to getting you back to where they want you. And I don't want you guys to fall for that. I don't want you to stay there. I want you to run and never look back. So, okay, narcissistic personality disorder. The causes of it, okay, could be helicopter parenting, excessive praise, my baby can do no wrong kind of thing, taking them to the doctor for the sniffles, just the tiniest little thing, being doing everything in abundance, not balancing things out for your child, not letting them have realistic expectations of the world, and being accountable for actions, telling them when they're wrong and how to make it right. That just simply doesn't happen. Excessive criticism or rejection from a parent can cause this as well. Constantly chasing that parent that's being neglectful or has abandoned, or when you're around them, they constantly tell you what you're doing wrong. They don't give praise. And it can also be inherited personality traits, things that you model, things that you see growing up, and then in turn you do that yourself. So these are some of the traits of narcissists. They're excessively self-involved. They have a superiority complex. They're very vain. They're very selfish. Exaggerated feelings of self-importance, and only them, not you. You know, they will go out and buy whatever they want for themselves with very little regard to whether that's balanced out in the household, whether other people get the same treatment. They don't deserve the same treatment in their mind. It's only them that deserves to get, you know, the biggest TV, the best clothes, the best this or that. That's for them. That's reserved for them. They need admiration and praise from others. They need a constant stroking of their ego. I did a lot of ego stroking to keep the peace, to keep things running smoothly, because I knew that that's what they wanted. A lack of empathy for others' feelings. There's a lot of narcissistic empath dynamic. A lot of time they will seek out people that care very much about others because they know that they have an endless supply of love to give, that they freely give it, and they will freely take it and take advantage of that. They live in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur about themselves. A lot of fantasy going on there. They exploit others with shame and guilt, that by demeaning them, being intimidating, bullying, belittling, arrogant, manipulative, demanding. It's definitely a bully dynamic. They want you. They're very insecure. They're very. They don't like to be criticized at all. They don't like to be called out because they're not going to be accountable. They want to be able to say that they didn't do anything. Another reason why I'm exposing this behavior on my channel, because the last thing that they want, a narcissist wants, is to be exposed for their behavior. They want to be able to sit back and say that they didn't do anything and play the victim. They want to play the blame game and have zero accountability. And that happened a lot in the past. I did not stand up for myself. Of course, I defended myself in court and I got what I wanted. But I never stood up to it at all. A lot of times if you stand up to it, it will only lash out even more. But I'm not scared of that anymore. I am not scared of standing in my power and speaking my truth. I will tell my story, and I do not want my son to be like that, and I don't want him to have to suffer, and I don't want you guys to have to suffer. So I will always use my platform to speak my truth. I will always use it for good. I do not want anyone to have to suffer through these things silently, and I want you all to be a survivor. Narcissists, they're about control, power, domination, right? They want to dominate their victim. It's very much abuse, okay? It's sometimes physical abuse. I have been physically abused, not in the worst sense, but hands were put on me in anger. I have been sexually abused. That was admitted in court. The judge did not care. Excuse me, even though he admitted it himself and I had proof. It's very much a lot of verbal abuse, emotional abuse. They want to neglect you and have you constantly trying to gain their attention, their affection, so that they can feel powerful and like you need them. And they want you to feel like isolated, so that you depend on them 100%. That's the main thing. That's one of the main tactics that they try, is isolation. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 4 years, and he loved that. He loved that he had me where he wanted me. He could run around and do whatever he wanted without me knowing. And then in turn, he could also tell people that I was lazy all the time. That was his big thing. She's lazy. Even though being a stay-at-home mom was very, very hard and a lot of work. Any stay-at-home mom will attest to that. But I did have some postpartum depression, and he took advantage of that and exploited it to others. And instead of being sympathetic and trying to help me, he took advantage of that and tried to tell people how lazy I was because I was struggling with this, not calling it what it was, just trying to make me look like a bad person. And that's the name of the game for them. They love when things like that happen, because then they don't have to try so hard to create it. They just capitalize on what's already there. As far as verbal abuse, yelling, I used to go from room to room trying to get away from his berating, his yelling. He would follow me everywhere, trying to make me feel cornered and like I couldn't get away, and I was suffocating in what he was doing to me. And I wanted to keep the peace. I wasn't, as a stay-at-home mom, wasn't in the position to jump ship and go start my own, household. I didn't have the funds, and he knew that. So in turn, I would have to take it and try to keep the peace however I could, so that I wouldn't upset the children, that I wouldn't upset the living situation, keep everything stable and secure. And he knew that. So he took advantage and did whatever he wanted. Manipulation, withholding money. This is a big thing. Being a stay-at-home mom, I did do cakes. It wasn't hugely profitable. I was just getting started, so I didn't charge a lot. I never charged a lot for my cakes, but especially at the beginning, because I was trying to gain clientele. I was trying to gain trust. I was trying to get my skills up. So no, I didn't charge a lot. So it wasn't lucrative. And then in the end, I did have a part-time job at a pizza place. So as soon as we split up, then, well, I should say, as soon as I realized that he was cheating, he immediately took his money out of the bank account, knowing that I didn't have money to support the whole household on my own. He removed all of his money from the bank account. So withholding money, withholding sex, this also happened. I didn't know that he was giving it to other people. I just thought that I needed to try harder to be more appealing, to fix all of the things that he said was wrong with me, all of the complaints, all of the put downs, the things that he said made me not attractive. So that, again, I would try harder and harder and harder and wear myself out, trying to endlessly please him and his ever-changing demands of me. They will withhold communication. They love to do the silent treatment, so that if you have any abandonment issues, then you will struggle with, I'm gonna lose this. I need this. To tie it in with your self-worth. They'll sabotage things. Emotional blackmail. Gaslighting. I did a whole video on this, so you guys know. Love bombing. This is how they will get you. And this is how, when they see you on the verge of having enough, that they will reel you back in if they can. I have been endlessly love bombed, and this is how I fell for it, because being an empath, being a Libra, we love. We want to give and give and give in hopes of getting just a tiny bit back, and then not wanting to give up on it, because we feel like if we just give a little bit more, if we just keep giving more, then they'll wake up, then they'll act right. How could they keep treating me bad if I love them more? So love bombing consists of gift giving. Like I said before, knowing love languages, so that they can hit that sweet spot with what they know that you want and what you need. Appearing to fall in love. To have emotional attachments. I mean, it is possible, but complete lack of empathy for the object of their affection, because they only love themselves. It's not even completely possible, because they have so many unhealed wounds from how this all started in childhood that they haven't worked on, and they don't know any other way. They don't know how to stop unless they receive some kind of treatment, some kind of mental health therapy. And I tried with my ex. He tried to get me into a psychological evaluation way back then, when I was realizing that I had enough of this stuff and what kind of person that he truly was. The mask will come off after you've been in these cycles over and over and over, and you'll get tired of it. You'll get exhausted from making excuses, and hopefully they won't beat you down so much that you forget your self-worth entirely, that you can get on your feet and stand up for yourself. And so when I requested that if I had a psychological evaluation, that he did as well, which I also did in court, but that was ignored. He jumped ship on therapy. He didn't want a psychological evaluation. He ran. He no longer wanted to do therapy anymore, conveniently. So the power dynamics are way out of balance. They don't want you to have any say so. They want to be in total control. They feel entitled to take things and become enraged when they don't get their way. It's a tyrant situation, like a grown man or grown woman throwing a tantrum, and they might as well be on the floor kicking and screaming and throwing a fit, just like a little kid would in a store, because that's very much how they act behind closed doors. This happened once when I had to call the cops because I was being followed from room to room, being yelled at, and then the cops show up, and it's, I'm fine. It's all her. And even because my ex-husband in my situation has family that is part of law enforcement, so of course they heard the other side before they even showed up. Well, that's the second time they were called in 24 hours, but the first time they didn't have time to reach. They didn't have time to feel the cop that showed up in, and therefore he did listen to me. But the second round did not. They were fully ready for who they were coming to see and who they were associated with, and they said he's not doing it. And I said, now he's not doing it. I wouldn't have called you if he wasn't doing something that was harmful to me and my children. But he was just cool as a cucumber then. He doesn't want anybody to see it, which is why I'm exposing it now. Because I didn't expose it then. I didn't have a platform, but I do now. I have people's attention. And they do not want anyone, any narcissist doesn't want anyone to see how they act behind closed doors, because they are a tyrant, because they try to control everything, because they want to wear you down and have you depend on them, and for them to be able to say whatever they want out in public, because they rely on you not having a voice, on you not speaking up. And I'm trying to tell you all now, gather your voice, gather your strength, get away from it. Do not let them control the narrative. Expose it whenever you can. This is going to infuriate them. So be ready for the insults, the gaslighting, the trying to control public opinion, the witch hunt, the flying monkeys. Oh, the flying monkeys, the people that fall for their pity party, the ones that don't come and get your side. They only get their side, and they're so low vibrational that they will jump in the fight without having the full story, and they will feel sorry for them because they will very much, over and over, and as much as they have to, make themselves out to be a victim so that they can gain support, okay? Flying monkeys. Flying monkeys will be everywhere, so get ready for that. Yeah, it's exhausting, but as soon as you recognize, I was pulled back in so many times, guys. I was pulled back in, even up till the final straw here with this situation. He was still trying to pull me back in, sending me shirtless pics, offering me foot rubs, offering to cook me dinner, sending me album covers, sending me his own pictures from the vacation that him and my son took to DC. Yeah, he was still trying, and I just refuse. I don't see him the same way anymore, especially after the sexual assault. I had to be pushed to the very max of my limits and to be broken down to the point where I clung to God. This is when I started opening my eyes to praying for my path, to get on my path, and for God to show me my purpose, because I knew that this wasn't it, especially about how others treated me, people that didn't know him, people that he hadn't gotten to yet, how they treated me, how they respected me, how they thought that I was wonderful. So I knew that this opinion of me, of someone who I loved very much, and gave too much power to for way too long, I knew that they weren't right. I knew that that wasn't what I embodied because of how other people received me and treated me that had nothing to do with him. So cling to God, pray for strength, pray for discernment, very much look at how others treat you, because that is not your worth. That's just a situation that they want to put you in so that they have power over someone. And as soon as you're gone, they will jump to the next person that they can suck energy from because they need that source. They need it. They need the supply. So the best way to take your power back is to go no contact. Absolutely go no contact. I went no contact a few times. They cannot stand it. They cannot stand it. They are highly sensitive to criticism and any threat to their self-image at all. If you trigger this, a rage cycle will continue. Trust, like I said, be ready, but don't give in. Keep strong on your stance. So I have sent 2 messages. I called back yesterday, didn't receive a call back, so I texted and told him to have my son call back. I did text his mother because she usually facilitates things between us. No answer there, and I told her I was sorry. Don't worry about it. I'll go through the lawyer. And then she obviously sent a text to me that wasn't meant for me that said her again, which let me know that she was getting them and she was corresponding with my ex in a continued effort to ignore the request to talk to my son on my phone day, which is Saturday. I am court ordered to get a phone call on Saturday. However, it was discussed that this would not be facilitated through the family anymore at all. But since I didn't think it had been set up with anybody else yet, I did attempt to contact back after I was phone called first to talk to my son. Now, it's okay if I have to wait, but no one has given me any further instructions. I did reach out to his lawyer to gain clarity on that, so I'm awaiting word from her. But it's fine. I will wait until the court tells me how I should do it, and I will do it that way. I just didn't know yet, but I refuse to keep reaching out to him or texting his family. It will be no contact from here on out because you can't trust them to not flip it and turn it and try to make it look like you were in the wrong, and so they can sit back and say that they didn't do anything, even though they did reach out first. So you want to avoid that. Go no contact, because the littlest thing that you send will say game on to them. Game on. During no contact, they can stalk, they can harass, they will create fake profiles, they will call from different numbers if you have them blocked, they will stop by your job, they will do anything and everything to try to get the attention, to get that energy supply from you. They need it, they want it, they cannot stand no contact. Go no contact. It can be painful and infuriating to deal with this, but do not retaliate when you feel mistreated. I am exposing. I am not retaliating because I am not going to be made out to be the bad guy. I will very much put their behavior on Front Street from here on out because I refuse to be called the attacker or like they're being victimized in any way, because obviously the power dynamic is lopsided. I'm not in any power here but my own. I'm only controlling myself, not trying to control them at all with texting nonstop, calling them nonstop. I'm done with that. I'm so done with that. The quicker that you can be done with that, the better. They thrive on conflict and drama. So anything that you give to them